Today we're going to show you how to replace the axle on your Subaru Crosstrek. This is located in the front of the vehicle behind the wheel. Now we're going to use a 19mm socket to remove the wheels. Make sure you put the lug nuts somewhere that you're not going to lose them and you're not going to kick them around the space. Now remove the wheel. To remove the axle nut, use a 32mm socket. Use a punch to free up the axle from the hub. To release the clip, use a set of pliers, pinching on the top and bottom of the clip. To remove the brake hose from the strut, it's a 12mm. Remove the 10mm bolt, holding the sensor to the knuckle. Using a flathead screwdriver, we're going to be very careful not to damage the ABS sensor as we pull it out. You can use the wrench to wiggle the bolt to push it out. Same with the bottom. Now we're going to move to the inner portion of our axle. Using a pry bar, being very careful not to damage the transmission, pry out on the axle. Push the knuckle towards the front and be very careful not to damage your brake hose. When removing the axle, be careful not to damage anything. With the inner stub popped out, you should be able to flex the CV joints. And remove your axle. Wipe down the seal in the transmission. Be sure not to use any solvents here, as you don't want to contaminate the transmission fluid. Clean and inspect the back side of the hub where the axle goes into the hub. Install the axle in reverse order of how you removed it. Line up the splines of the axle inside the transmission. You'll feel it set in. Once it's set in, give it a few more pushes and you'll feel it set in all the way. Apply anti-seize on the end of the axle, but not on the threads. Install the lower bolt of the strut. Install the upper bolt. Install your nuts, and don't forget about the washer on the top. Snug those down. Torque these to 114 foot-pounds. Reinstall your ABS wheel speed sensor into the knuckle. Reinstall the bolt and snug this down, being cautious not to over-tighten. Reinstall the spindle nut onto the axle. Snug this down, being very cautious not to over-tighten. If you don't have someone to press in the brake pedal for you, you can use a pry bar. Support between the studs and torque the nut. Torque the axle nut to 162 foot-pounds. Once you've torqued the axle nut, you're going to find a notch on one side. Punch the lip of the axle nut into the notch. This will prevent the axle nut from spinning loose. Support the bottom of the wheel so that it's flat on the hub. If you thread the first lug in most of the way, it'll hold the wheel on for you. Snug them down, but not too tight, because you want to be able to torque them and have them move when you do so. And now we're going to torque the lugs down to 89 foot-pounds. Make sure you're going in a star pattern to bring everything down evenly. Make sure you get a four-wheel alignment after completing this.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.